Hello folks, how are you doing? I hope you're well. My name is Marc Gallagher. I am a professional ukulele player from England, and today I thought we'd do a little shootout. Pono versus Pono. Let's see how different these ukuleles really are. Pew pew. So yeah, I want to do a little shootout, sound comparison between these two very similarly spec'd ukuleles. For those who don't know and haven't seen my gear profile videos, then this is my Pono ETCPC. This is my favorite ukulele. I've taken this to a bunch of countries and I've had it for about 7 years. I love this uke. I love it so much that I got a very similarly spec'd uke. This is a Pono RT-SHCPC. They are very, very similar with just a couple of key differences. So firstly, let's talk about this ukulele. This is the Pono ETCPC. That is ebony, tenor, cedar top, Pro Classic range, the now discontinued Pro Classic range of ukuleles from Pono. This next ukulele is the Pono RT-SHCPC. That is the rosewood, tenor, slot headstock, cedar Pro Classic ukulele. So this is also part of the Pro Classic range, has the same bracing, the same pretty much everything except for two key differences. So the back and side wood. On the other uke, it is made of ebony. On this uke, it's made of rosewood. The other key difference is the headstock. So this one has a slotted headstock. This one has a normal headstock. I believe it's called non-slotted, but I prefer normal. So why do these differences matter, or maybe not matter? Here's why. So what's interesting to note is that there is a very big stress put onto the top wood of ukuleles and other acoustic instruments. And here's the reason why. When you strike the strings will vibrate, and through the saddle and the bridge, that will transmit vibration into the top wood. This is very important. This is the soundboard, because when the top wood vibrates, that then kind of courses around the body and then through the sound hole, and then you hear it. So the top wood is greatly emphasized. You'll even get some budget ukuleles which might have laminate back and sides, but they will have a solid top. That being said, surely there has got to be some kind of vibration and coloration that goes on in the back and sides, right? The other difference, and the reason why this might be compelling, is the difference between the headstocks. So firstly, on a regular headstock, behind the nuts, you've got the strings bent at a slight angle towards the posts. This is normal and this is fine. On a slotted headstock, because the machine heads are sitting slightly further, the angle in which the strings are being pulled at behind the nut, also known as the break angle, it's a bit steeper. I'm not going to exactly get a protractor out and measure the difference in the angles, but the angles are greater and steeper on a slotted headstock ukulele versus on a non-slotted headstock ukulele. The theory behind this is that you're going to get a bit more tension, and that's going to give a slightly snappier tone to it. At least that is the theory. So you might be asking, why now, Mark? Why have you waited until all this time to do a direct one-to-one comparison? I took a set of Worth strings, and because Worth strings are double length, I used literally the same packet of strings on both of these ukuleles. It's been a couple days, so the strings have now settled in. Yes, these ukuleles are incredibly similar spec. The only two differences are the slotted headstock or the back and sides wood. So those are the main differences we're going to be listening for and seeing which we prefer and how different these instruments really are. In terms of recording, I mic'd this up with my Ear Trumpet Labs Edwina. I've done no post-processing beyond just raising the level of both of them into Pro Tools, but that is it. I've not done any EQ or any compression on these, so you should hopefully be getting as natural a result as you can without being stood in the room with me. So I'm going to take you to a brief sound sample showing like some strummy stuff, some fingerpicky stuff, and then I'll give my thoughts, but I very much welcome hearing what thoughts you have in the comments. Okay, so I have recorded them now, but I've not yet listened back to the audio. So here is my perspective and my immediate thoughts as I am playing the ukuleles. I think I still prefer the older ukulele, the ebony one with the normal headstock, because I felt like I was getting a bit more bass and roundness out of the ukulele. I still had a lot of snap and a good amount of tension and the instrument working against me. Maybe there is an argument to be said about how the wood has aged. I've had that ukulele for about 7 years compared to the 1 year that I have had the rosewood ukulele. The rosewood Pono is also fantastic. In terms of feel, I do feel it's a bit looser. The scale length is exactly the same and there should be more tension with the slotted headstock, but honestly, I feel a bit of a loosey-goosey kind of thing. There's like a lack of the bass and low mid energy in this ukulele, and that's something I find surprising. There's still like clarity and sparkle, but I feel you've just got more warmth and roundness with the ebony older ukulele. Like, I feel like this one just sings a little bit more. So with that out of the way, now I'm going to listen to the audio and I'm going to see if that has changed my thoughts on anything beyond how it feels listening to the ukulele from behind it as I am playing it. So we'll see on that one.
5 minutes later.
Okay, so I've just listened to the audio back, the same thing that you guys have heard, and my perspective's changed ever so slightly, but in different ways. So, the ebony Pono, my favorite one, yes, you get the lower mids, but it can also sound a little bit too like this. And the same thing can be said about like the difference in the treble, the top end. The rosewood ukulele with the slotted headstock, that's got a bit more sparkle to it, if I may say so. It sounds a bit clean in terms of the top end clarity. The ebony can still sound a bit like it's being covered a little bit. And that's not necessarily ideal for when you're trying to mic an instrument. That's the difference I noticed with the two ukuleles, like in isolation and having listened to this audio back now. I still prefer the feel of the ebony one because I prefer the feel of having a bit more low end coming out of my instrument. It makes the thing feel fatter and it makes me feel a little better as I'm playing, and how I feel as I'm playing will affect how I play and the performance I give. But there was a great cleanness and clarity to the rosewood one with the slotted headstock. And honestly, yes, I can tell the difference. Which do I prefer? Good question, and context also matters. What you're doing with the two ukes, what you're playing in. Are you playing solo, instrumental? Are you accompanying yourself? Are you in an ensemble? Blah, 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 blah. Rosewood slot headstock one, that sounded like it was very polished. Imagine like a very polished pop song recording. And then the ebony one with the normal headstock, that one's got a bit more personality. Not as perfect, but it's brilliant and it does exactly what you need, and it's a bit rawer and that endears you more to it. So that's it. That's a comparison of my very similar ukuleles. Yeah, I guess even with the same strings and the same circumstances and the same top wood and the same everything, you can hear the difference between a slotted headstock and a not slotted headstock, and you can hear the difference between back and side woods. They do make a difference. Which one did you like better? Let me know in the comments. You can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/MarcGallagherMusic. Follow me on social media of choice at Marc Gallagher Music, and I've got just a few seconds left before my camera memory runs out. So I will see you guys soon, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you.